charm of civilization lies not in uniformity, but in diversity. Not in monologue, but in dialogue. We believe that as long as we remain curious and passionate about the world, each of us is a true deep seeker. An open and inclusive Hangzhou is offering such a cross-cultural space for meaningful civilizational dialogues. On the occasion of the first International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations on June 10, 2025, the Hangzhou International Communication Center specially organized a journey of mutual learning among civilizations spanning 5,000 years. It invited 10 representatives from Hangzhou and 10 international friends to jointly launch Hangzhou and the World 10 Paired Conversations.
Christina Papageorgopoulou is a professor at the Department of History and Ethnology at Democritus University of Thrace and serves as the director of both the Laboratory of Biological Anthropology and the Institute of Applied Bioarchaeological Studies. She currently leads an interdisciplinary team of researchers working in the fields of paleodiet, paleodemography, paleogenetics, 3D digitalization and visualization, and new computational tools. Guo Yi serves as a council member of the Scientific Archaeology Committee of Chinese Society for the History of Science and Technology. His research focuses on scientific archaeology and stable isotope analysis. He has led projects under the National Natural Science Foundation of China and National Social Science Fund Project of China and conducted research and analysis on the food structure, such as diet of Liangzhu culture's ancestors. Today, let's turn our focus to ancient civilizations and archaeological technology. What sparks will ignite between scientific archaeology and code of human civilization?
Thank you very much for coming, and it's very welcome to visit Hangzhou City. I know that in 2022, the Professor Sven Paper won the Nobel Prize for the Asian DNA for Neanderthals. You are an Asian DNA analysis researcher, very famous researcher. And do you think when you visit the Liangzhu site, do you think there are any possibility for Asian DNA research for know more about the Liangzhu culture?
First of all, I think that ancient DNA is evolving fast, and it's very important for archaeological sciences because it can help solve, or not solve mysteries, but let's say help to understand better a lot of archaeological subjects and problems sometimes that we have, or to help to reconstruct better the past societies. In the case of Liangzhu, unfortunately, the preservation of the skeleton is not good. So, so this probably there would not be preserved any DNA, but in case that new findings will be come in light, even in Liangzhu or nearby. I think that in general this can help. And of course, in the big scale, you can see the connection of the Liangzhu people with the neighbor populations. I mean, as far as understood, the place was really perfect for them to build the city because of the protection of the mountains, the water, the wetland, and the big fields that they could cultivate.
Exactly, because I know you have quite a lot of information gained from the visit from the Museum Liangzhu.
I was not so informed before I came. I just had the opportunity to see some pictures, you know, in books and so on. But having this research also in Greece, I see a lot of similarities.
The Greece has a very long seashore, yes. And in Liangzhu, it was near the seashore, and they have quite a lot of rivers across the city. So we still are wondering that how about they their daily life?
For everyday life, I suppose that there are a lot of commons, at least for agricultural activities, because I can imagine the agricultural activities were quite similar. How you see? Of course, we don't cultivate rice, but they had to cultivate wheat and barley. So
based on agriculture,
exactly,
yes.
At least in terms of everyday life. Fishing should be also the same, and like I said, we find a lot of fresh fish.
Bones?
No, bones
Not
we
bones?
find, not bones, we find it on the isotope analysis also, we find a lot of fresh fish. I mean, you can distinguish the fresh fish from the seashore fish, and like I said, we do also the sulfur analysis to have the local baseline, and there we see the differences.
Archaeology is the echo wall of civilization. We tirelessly chase the wisdom of our ancestors, for true progress never forgets its origin.
If you have to choose, what would you say that is the most popular archaeological site in China?
We have more than 8,800 excavations for 10 years. For the past 100 years, we have quite so many excavations. And in 2021, that is the 100th anniversary for Chinese archaeology. So in 2021, we selected 100 most famous sites all of the China. So at least 100 very famous, which is quite more than.
Yes,
because terracotta army of Qing, it's very famous. Very very hard to say because we are focusing on human origination of China. So there are quite a lot of Paleolithic sites which are dating back to 300 million and 200 million years old, and we are focusing on the origination of agriculture. So we have a series of sites which are dating back to 10,000 around that time. It's like 10, 15 or 20. And we are working on the origination of Chinese civilization. And they have a series of between 5,500 to 4,000 years ago. And they have quite a lot of important sites. Liangzhu is one of it, and it's very famous. And other historical archaeological sites as well, such as some porcelain sites, some bronze, the metal site, and one is the Sanxingchun site in the Sichuan province. How about the Greece, the very famous history? What do you think is famous for?
If I would have to choose, of course, we can start from Acropolis, which is the cradle of the Western civilization with the Parthenon. It's a classical period with dates in the 5th century BC. But if we want to go back, of course, we have like the first palaces and the first social stratification and the craft specialization, which is in parallel time exactly like Liangzhu, which is the beginning of the Cycladic and the Minoan and the Helladic civilization. And then after the ancient Greek civilization, colonization, and in the 11th century BC and in the 8th century until the 6th century, where Greeks from Corinth, Evia, Athens moved to southern Italy, to the whole Mediterranean, and brought these ideas, and based on this, it was then we developed in the classical period. And then where I come from, northern Greece, we have the Hellenistic period with Alexander the Great, and the Hellenistic period Macedonian kingdom, well known for its big expansion and their special craftsmanships, also as warriors, but also as the Hellenistic period is very well known for the very nice artifacts. And continuing after the Roman period, we have the Byzantines, and the Byzantines were early Christian history with a lot of World Heritage UNESCO churches in all over Greece, especially so in Thessaloniki, where I come from. How is it working as an archaeologist in China?
Yeah, it's very cool to be an archaeologist in China because, like in Greece, China has a very long history. And very long time is without the human writing record. So archaeologists can help people know more things rather than the document. So it's very interesting and exciting explore new knowledge by ourselves and to help people to know more about the history and such as who we are, where are we from, what do we connect to the whole world.
I think that there is a lot of knowledge. The problem is, I think that there is a lot of knowledge. The problem is that we don't use this knowledge. Also in ancient Greece, you have the ancient philosophers. A lot of the ancient philosophy was based, like also in Asia and in other parts of the world, they had a lot of wisdom,
Exactly.
for a good quality of life,
Yes.
for a good nutrition, for a good health. I think that the problem is that we are sometimes so globalized that we don't see or we don't anymore cherish this ancient wisdom to our everyday life. Somehow this ancient wisdom has to be brought again to the everyday life.
Not everyone dreams of becoming an archaeologist. Yet across China, a new generation is drawn to the mysteries beneath the soil. Archaeology is no longer just about digging the earth. It is about discovering the reflections of ourselves, digging deep within the layers of time.
And recently, it's very interesting that some TV series and documentaries, which was for the TV, for the people, they are so loved by the younger generations. Lots of kids and the teenagers watch these movies and they want to be the take part in the archaeology major in the universities.
Very interesting.
Yeah, 40 years ago, when I was like high school students, I want to be an archaeologist, but there's quite few universities that I can choose. It's like 10 or 20, very small number. But nowadays we have 40 universities has archaeological major, almost like 70 to 80 universities has museology and cultural heritage.
I was here in some museums during our visit, so I'm also a museum friend and so I really enjoyed it here.
Museology is also very important in China, and nowadays we have like more than almost like 8,000 museums all over the country. And it's that means one museum for 200,000 people. They served like 1.4 billion people to visit the museums for 1 year, and like 90% are free for the public. Last year, I think it's have more than 250 new museums was built.
Yes.
It's all of the museums, quite a lot of museums. And in the weekends, the parents want to take their children to visit museums. That's their first choice.
I find also importance of cultural heritage and to knowing the past and to give support for this, to first of all for the research and then for the museology to give it. And it's a good educational tool for the young generation.
And such like countries like in Greece and in China, they both have quite long history. It's the museums is a very, very important place to show their the power of history.
This
For their
year,
nationalities.
Greece had mutual understanding and a memorandum, I think, of understanding for archaeological exhibitions, and a lot of archaeological artifacts from Greece, they have been to China to different exhibitions. We will speak in an academic way in the students, and we will do research, and we two understand each other, and we have a mutual understanding on the experiments and on the research. But the next generation, to make more attractive what the information, I think we have to use a lot of tools in the museum, taking from museology and museography to documentary films to the new way of showing it to the people, to the young generations, to use their means to show this information we have from our sciences.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.